There's a version of you that you were supposed to become, and somewhere along the way, you quietly gave up on her. Not in one dramatic moment. No breakdown, no rock bottom. Just morning after morning of hitting snooze on your own potential. Somewhere out there right now, someone is waking up 2 hours before the world does. Not because an alarm screamed at them, but because their body already knows what yours forgot. While you were still asleep, they were already 3 tasks deep into their day. Already trained, already ahead. And here's the part that actually hurts. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not some gift you were denied at birth. It's one decision, made quietly every single morning, that you have never made for yourself. So let me ask you something, and I want you to actually sit with it. What if the gap between who you are and who you were meant to be was never about hard work at all? What if it was decided before 8 a.m. every single day of your life? And here's the strange part. By the end of this video, you're going to know the exact moment today when you'll either become that version of you or lose her for one more day. Hold on to that, because we're coming back to it. Let's talk about mornings. Not the Instagram version, not the ice bath, the green juice, the perfectly lit desk. The real one. Most people wake up already losing, phone in hand before their eyes even adjust to the light, scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel, absorbing bad news, comparison and noise, before they've had one single original thought of their own. By the time they're out of bed, their mind isn't theirs anymore. It belongs to notifications, strangers' opinions and other people's emergencies. Top performers do the opposite, not because they're superhuman, because they understood something early that the rest of us are still learning the hard way. The first hour of your day isn't just time, it's the blueprint for everything that follows it. Let me tell you about Daniel. Mid-level manager, decent job, quietly drowning. Every morning the same routine. Snooze, panic, coffee rush, guilt. He used to say, "I'm just not a morning person." Like it was written into him. Like some people were simply handed the good version of themselves. And he got the leftovers. Then one week it all came apart. A project he led collapsed in front of everyone. His manager questioned his reliability out loud in a room full of his peers. And that night, lying awake, he felt something he'd never admit to anyone. Shame. Quiet, heavy, humiliating shame. Because deep down he knew this wasn't bad luck. This was a pattern. And the pattern started every morning the second his eyes opened. So he changed one thing. Just one. No phone for the first 30 minutes. That's it. Your phone, your inbox, the noise. That's the shake. And most of us grab that glass and shake it violently before our feet even hit the floor. Then we wonder why we can't focus, why we feel behind before 9 a.m., why clarity feels like something other people have and we don't. Top performers protect the stillness. They let the water settle before they ask anything of it. Here's the honest version of why this works. Right when you wake up, your brain is at its most impressionable. Small, almost embarrassingly small. But here's what nobody tells you about small decisions. A single morning doesn't change your life, but it decides who shows up for the rest of your day. Within that silence, his mind started to think again. Not react, not consume, think. Within weeks, he was the calmest person in every meeting he used to dread. Not because his job got easier, because he stopped starting every day already behind. That version of him he thought he'd never become was one silent morning away the entire time. Now stop reading for a second and actually do this with me. Think of the last time you checked your phone within 5 minutes of waking up. What was the first emotion it gave you? Comparison? Stress? A little jealousy you didn't want to admit to. That feeling, that's not random. You've been manufacturing it on purpose every single morning without even realizing you had a choice. Sit with that, because most people never will. Think of your mind like a glass of water, still and clear when it's left alone. But shake it, and everything gets murky. Whatever you feed it first becomes the lens for your entire day. Feed it panic, comparison, and other people's noise. And you spend the day defending yourself from a fight nobody invited you to. Feed it stillness and intention. And you spend the day building instead of bracing. This is why just wake up earlier never worked for you. Waking up early means nothing if you're still handing your mind to chaos the moment your eyes open. It was never about the clock. It was always about what gets there first. And that should scare you a little, because it means every single morning you've been choosing without realizing it. Now here's something I need you to actually hear. 90% of the people watching this will nod along right now and do absolutely nothing different tomorrow morning. Not because they don't care, but because knowing something and becoming someone are two completely different things. Which one are you going to be? The person who agreed with the video or the person who let it change her? Let's go deeper, because there's a second decision that changes everything, and it has nothing to do with what time you wake up. Meet Sarah, a nurse working brutal 12-hour shifts back to back, no real breaks. Some days she woke at 5, some days at 11, whenever her body finally gave in. But there was something else going on with Sarah. Something she didn't tell people. Most mornings before her feet touched the floor, she'd lie there and just dread it. Not the shift, not really. Herself. She'd think about how tired she was of being tired, how she used to have plans for her life that had quietly disappeared, how somewhere in the last few years she'd stopped recognizing the person in the mirror. That's not burnout, that's grief. Grief for a version of yourself you started to forget. And most mornings she'd just lie there in it, letting that heaviness set the tone before she'd even stood up. Then one morning, half out of desperation, she tried something different. Before she let herself spiral, she asked one question: what is one thing I actually want today to be about? Not the 12-hour shift, not the exhaustion, just one thing. And something in her chest loosened. That question didn't fix her life. It gave her a rudder inside a life she couldn't always control. Because here's the thing about a ship with a powerful engine and no rudder. It doesn't matter how hard it works. The waves decide where it ends up. Most of us are running on a full engine and no direction. So we stay busy all day and still feel like we accomplished nothing. Sarah didn't get an easier job. She got a mind that stopped drowning inside it. And here's something worth remembering. Your mind will follow the first clear thing you give it. So give it something worth following. Now picture this for a second. Not Sarah, not Daniel. You. 6 weeks from now, waking up and for the first time in a long time, not immediately reaching for your phone, not immediately bracing for the day, just lying there for a moment calm, because you've become someone who protects her own mornings now, because you've quietly turned into the version of you this whole video has been about. Hold on to that image. We're not done yet. There's a third piece, and this is the one people skip every single time. It's not meditation, it's not journaling, it's movement, but not the way you think. This isn't about fitness. This is about grief too. Grief for a body you stopped listening to. Think about how you actually wake up most days. Straight from lying down to sitting at a desk in 15 minutes. Your body's still half asleep while the world demands you perform. You do that to yourself every single day, and you call it normal. But your body isn't a machine you can just switch on. It's not an app that opens instantly. It's something you have to gently return to. Even 5 minutes, a stretch, a short walk, your feet on the ground, isn't exercise, it's an apology. An apology to a body you've been rushing past for years. Top performers aren't disciplined about this because they love the gym. They're disciplined about it because they understand something painfully simple. You cannot build a powerful life on top of a body you never gave permission to wake up. Let that sit for a second. Now here's where it all comes together. Protecting your mind before the noise gets in. Giving your mind one clear direction. Giving your body permission to actually arrive in the day. None of this requires money. None of this requires rare willpower. None of this requires becoming someone you're not. It requires deciding once that you're done outsourcing your mornings. To your phone, to your inbox, to everyone except yourself. Remember that moment I told you about earlier? The exact moment today that decides who you become. It's not tonight. It's not some big transformation you'll plan for later. It's tomorrow morning, the second your eyes open. Before your hand reaches for your phone. That's the moment. That was always the moment. So let's go back to where we started. There's a version of you waking up 2 hours before the world does. Not because an alarm screamed at them, but because they decided one ordinary morning to stop giving themselves away first thing. That person isn't someone else. That person was never someone else. That person is you, still waiting, still available, still one morning away. Close your eyes for a second and see her. Calm, clear, already 3 steps ahead before the world even wakes up. That's not a fantasy you're watching from the outside. That's a life you have permission to walk into tomorrow. You don't need to overhaul your entire life tonight. You need to become someone who owns the first hour of her day. That's it. That's the whole shift. So tomorrow, before you reach for your phone, ask yourself one question. What's the one thing I want today to be about? And then become the version of you who actually answers it. The version you opened this video already believing you'd never become. If you're done being someone who survives their mornings and ready to become someone who owns them, stay here, because this channel exists for exactly that person. Subscribe not for me. Subscribe for who you're becoming. And if you've ever wondered why some days you have all the willpower in the world and other days you don't even recognize yourself, the next video is going to explain exactly why that happens and exactly how to become the version of you who doesn't have that problem anymore.